Syracuse Orange fans, can you feel the heat?
Greetings, Cuse Nation. Welcome to Orange Heat. My name's Giovanni Heater, as always, and thank you for joining me. Syracuse basketball is absolutely hot right now on a 2-game winning streak. Every player has been being involved up and down, both sides of the ball, all around the court. The fan base is super into it. Last week, Syracuse fell to Georgia Tech 73-59 in the Carrier Dome. Since then, a complete turnaround has occurred. Credits to Georgia Tech for playing a great zone defense and putting a great fight up against the Syracuse Orange. Syracuse couldn't get shots to fall from the perimeter, and they were unable to get a lot of penetration on the inside. Monday night, Syracuse shocked the college basketball world, traveling down to Durham, North Carolina, and handling business against the #1 ranked Duke Blue Devils in their home court. Saturday, to keep momentum rolling, Syracuse handled business well against the PITT Panthers, ACC foe, taking them down 74-63 in the Dome. Now, we take a look in depth into all of these games. First, let's see some highlights that brought us to Syracuse Orange's victory against the Duke Blue Devils in Durham. Syracuse traveling on the road, taking on #1 ranked Duke at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Zion Williams, the freshman sensation, off the front rim and out on the three, but he's going to respond with a dunk, and Duke jumps out to an early lead. Turnover by Syracuse. Barrett, nobody in front of him, slams it home, and the Blue Devils jump out to an 11-0 lead as Jim Boeheim and the Orange call for timeout, but don't count him out yet. Tyus Battle, man, was he good tonight. Battle, another three from the corner. That one's going to fall. And the Orange clawing their way back into this ball game. He's got 5 early buckets. Here's another one from the elbow. Tyus Battle. Express yourself, young man. Battle. And one. Shot's going to fall. And he's going to get a free throw. Syracuse climbing back into this game as Tyus Battle lets another one fly from the corner. That drops. And they're making everything tonight. Elijah Hughes gets on the inside and slams it home. Man, was Syracuse good in this ball game. Tyus Battle, fast break. It's all him right now, and number 25 in Orange is doing it all for his team. RJ Barrett kisses one off the window. It's no good, but the putback falls for the Blue Devils as the clock winds down before the half. Syracuse down, and the shot is up and good by Elijah Hughes as the clock expires from 75 feet away. The Orange trail by just 1 at halftime on the road, taking on the #1 ranked team in the country. Coming out of the half, O.J. Brissett from 3. That one's going to drop, and the Orange trail by just 3. Zion Williamson drives to the inside. Isn't he so good with that finesse move? Puts it up and in. Frank Howard making McConnell fall. Puts a 3 up, breaking ankles out there. As the shot's going to go up from Frank Howard, and he's going to strike it pure. He's got all 9 of the Orange's points as they came out of halftime, besides the 1-3 from O'Shea Brissett. As Tyus Battle misses off the window, but Pascal Chukwu puts it back. Man, has he been good. They lead Duke for the first time in the second half, and Pascal Chukwu, big part of that, 18 rebounds and 10 points on the night, as Frank Howard puts up a floater. Man, was that pretty. And the Orange lead once again as we wind down inside 2.5 minutes. Zion Williamson, the Blue Devils just won't go away as he puts one back up, and the Orange need a bucket here. Tyus Battle steps back in the face of Jack White. He puts it up and good. The Orange lead by 1 with a minute remaining in the ballgame. Syracuse for the win. Up and no good. And the Orange are going to send it to overtime. Zion missed the free throw, giving the Orange an opportunity as Elijah Hughes comes out quick in overtime, swoops it in, and puts it through the nylon. And speaking of nylon, there's Tyus Battle stroking one. McConnell gives it up. RJ Barrett for 3 in desperation, and the Blue Devils are back in it. Down by just 2 now. A lob to Pascal Chukwu, and that one's going to slam home. The Orange leading by 4 with 40 seconds left. Barrett 3, not going to matter. And Syracuse takes down number 1 on the road. 95-91. What an offensive performance by the Orange. They're going to improve to 12-5 and 3-1 in conference play. That's what I like to call ACC college basketball. Syracuse Orange defeat the Blue Devils. Defeat the Blue Devils, they did, and they did it on the road. And that's the biggest point of this game for me, is the fact that they did it on the road, in a hostile environment. Duke is one of the toughest places to play in the country. They call them the Cameron Crazies for a good reason. You're sitting there, and the student section is literally able to touch the opposing team's players. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. You can never get that close to the court at a Syracuse game. But nonetheless, Cameron Indoor Stadium, one of the toughest places to play in the country, and Syracuse certainly performed. And come resume time for the NCAA tournament, a road win looks a lot prettier than a win in the Dome, especially when you're playing the number 1 ranked team in the country. Now, to have a quick stat recap for this game, Tyus Battle. He led scoring with 32 points and 4 assists for the Orange. Elijah Hughes followed up with 20 points and 5 rebounds in this game. Frank Howard kept us in the game the whole entire second half, dropping 16 points, 5 assists, and 6 rebounds on the night. Really good to see Frank Howard performing well at a high level. He hit that sweet jumper in transition a lot of the time, pulling up from 2 or from 3. But the best part about it for me was him getting to the inside, driving to the bucket, hitting that floater. We saw him playing really timid throughout the start of this season because of that. He injured his ankle in a transition practice. He came in driving inside the lane, trying to dish it up, rolled his ankle. Simple injury, and sometimes that causes a little bit of fear for the player, a little bit of nervousness to really attack the basket in a game scenario. But he certainly shined, and that's the first time he's had a coming out party so far this year, give or take a few games. But for me, this was a clear difference. We hadn't seen him play this well all season, and it was really exciting to see. So great job out of Frank Howard there. O'Shea Brissett had a near double-double in this ballgame, 14 points and 8 rebounds from the man from Canada. This included 3 trays for O'Shea, as I like to say. Buddy Boeheim sunk in a 3, just 6 minutes of action for Boeheim on the night, but it was certainly good to see him not cracking under pressure, showing up on a big stage in a hostile environment and sinking a 3, just 1 for 1 on the night, and that is all you need out of your true freshman. Probably most impressive out of this Syracuse basketball team was none other than center Pascal Chukwu. He finished off the night with 10 points and 18 rebounds. 18 rebounds. Absolutely insane. A double-double out of him. And he really sealed the game in the finale at the free throw line, which is really exciting to see out of your center. He's going to earn our co-flame of the game. Now, we're going to get into our other man in a little bit. But certainly, Pascal Chukwu earns flame of the game. I guess you could call it player of the game, but we're going to call it flame of the game because this is Orange Heat. And he just performed at a high level, higher than we've seen all year. And it's really interesting because clearly, Jim Boeheim challenged Pascal, and it really showed how seriously Pascal Chukwu took this throughout his benching. We know that Jim Boeheim benched him, put in Merrick Dolezaj. It was working for a lot. Pascal wasn't getting the same minutes. In fact, there was a game where he didn't play whatsoever at all throughout the entire 40 minutes of the basketball game. So it was really, really cool to see Pascal Chukwu come out and not only perform well against a solid defense, one of the best defenses in the country, dropping 10 points, but rebounding the ball like a maniac against some top rebounding talent. The best rebounding team in the country with players like Zion Williams in there rebounding the ball for the Blue Devils. Really proud of Pascal and really exciting to see. You keep proving me wrong because I said a couple weeks ago that you were struggling. Thank you, Pascal, for proving me wrong. As I said, Pascal rebounding the ball extremely well, and this is the first time we've seen him play like this really in his whole career, in my opinion. We've been watching him for the last 3 years now. I've never seen him play at this high of a level throughout those 3 years. Now, Tyus Battle finally proving his worth to me. Now, we know Tyus Battle is a phenomenal player. We know that time and time again, he's been the answer to our prayers as Syracuse fans. But there was something special about this game for me, proving more than just being a good college player. And what I mean by this is the first time all season that I have seen him step up and play like an All-American. He really showed that he deserved to be one of those 5 guys who were nominated as the preseason All-Americans. And he really played well, not just dropping 32 points, but playing very unselfish, sharing the basketball, getting hyped up with his teammates, being a leader out on the court. And it was certainly amazing to see. This was the first time I really saw a true NBA talent out of Tyus as well. We knew he was going to get drafted. That's a given. But there's a difference, in my opinion, between being drafted to go to the NBA and actually playing in the NBA. And what I mean by that is this. A lot of guys will go, they'll get drafted high, but they'll have these careers off and on the bench, going to the G League, struggling early on, never really catching stride and becoming one of the big names in NBA. And you don't have to be a LeBron James, but to be a consistent player like a Deion Waiters coming out of Syracuse. Michael Carter-Williams still having an excellent career, won Rookie of the Year, names not mentioned as much, but he's sitting on a team getting paid. And I see Tyus Battle being a player that can make it in the NBA, stay there for a long time, and have a pretty solid career in the league. So I never saw that before this Duke game, and it really opened my eyes because he's playing against some of the best talent going into the draft, and he's really making a name for himself there. It's clear Tyus Battle has this uncanny ability to just take a game over. We've seen it time in and time out. Georgetown game, Tyus Battle took that game over. And really, Tyus Battle is the reason we won this game, because without his splurge in the first half, Syracuse would have never been in this basketball game. We were down by 12 points, and Tyus Battle all of a sudden shifted gears, put points on the board, hitting threes, hitting tough shots in transition, and clawed this Syracuse team back into the basketball game. And for that, he is our other co-flame of the game. It was so hard. I wanted to even throw Frank in there as well. It was too hard to give it to just one person. So what I ended up doing was giving it to Pascal Chukwu and Tyus Battle for their huge performances, going hand in hand with Frank Howard amongst the whole team. It was a great team win, and it was just really solid across the board. It was really a surprising a pleasure to see a scoring outburst like this. Syracuse dropped 95 points in this ball game, 48 points in the first half. It just seemed like everything was going in. I had never seen a Syracuse team score this much, this consistently. Every tough shot went in, and it was something amazing to watch. Syracuse scored very, very well in transition. As I said, they impressed me by pushing the ball up the court multiple times. Playing was much faster pace than Syracuse normally does. Typically, it's a slower, methodical defensive game. Not in this situation. Syracuse made fast breaks out of things that weren't fast breaks. Like I said, playing fast, aggressively in transition. Syracuse hits a bucket, hits a layup, and instead of just taking a regular inbound, Syracuse is pushing it up the court already, looking for a fast break opportunity, looking for a kick out, looking for an easy layup. And it was really phenomenal to see, looking for that alley-oop. And opportunities rose, and that's why ultimately they won this game. As a team, Syracuse shot 43.8% from the floor, as well as 44% from the three-point arc, 73.7% from the charity stripe. So all around, great shooting for the Orange on Monday night. And like I said, the lid on the basket just wasn't there. The hole was ginormous. It was like they were throwing beach balls into an ocean, and it was really exciting to see. Now, talking about Duke, Zion Williamson, clearly a very, very good player. He's going to score regardless. Doesn't matter who they're playing, how good your defense is. The man is going to put points up on the board, plain and simple. He's that good. He's that athletic. He's that physical. But Syracuse did a phenomenal job at strategizing. We stuck to our game plan. You know what I mean by that is this, that we never panicked. And they were locked in on every single chance, every single opportunity. And the biggest thing with that is locking off on everybody else on the court. We held that team to very minimal. Jack White went 0 for 10 from field goal range. So you're going to let Zion score, but you're going to lock everybody else off, not allow them to score. And the man can only do so much, 34 points. But look who won on the scoreboard at the end of the day. That's a team wearing orange, and it says Syracuse across their chest. So great to see there. Great to see the strategizing out of a Hall of Fame coach. I absolutely love it. Biggest thing here, Syracuse out-rebounded the best rebounding team in the country. They were held to 20% from 3 and 38% from the field. So phenomenal defense out of the Orange, even though it might show on the scoreboard, still allowing points into the 90s. And the biggest thing with our scoring outburst for me is the fact that I said Syracuse was never going to hit 100 points. And they proved me wrong time and time again. And I just never thought with the slow, methodical defense that it could ever get to that point, the way that they just chewed out the shot clock offensively and defensively. But again, they proved me wrong. They put on a scoring outburst, played a completely different type of game, different style than Syracuse normally plays, and it was really exciting and entertaining to see. Now, I know Duke was without Cam Reddish and Trey Jones. Trey Jones, a phenomenal point guard, really the glue of that basketball team. And I don't want to discredit this Syracuse win whatsoever. I think no matter what, no matter how you look at it, this is the fact. Syracuse beat the #1 team in the country at their home court. Period. Plain and simple. It's a road win in the books for the Orange against the #1 team in the country. Now, yes, would it have been a different game if those two were playing? I agree. But Trey Jones still played the first little bit, okay? And he was knocked out of the basketball game. Now, Reddish came down with some kind of illness. Would the game have been different? Yes. Who would have won? I don't know. I don't know. Plain and simple. I don't know. It's so hard to tell how the game would have played out because different players wouldn't have gotten the same amount of playing time. We may have gone about things differently, and it's interesting. I almost wonder, but it doesn't matter. You could speculate all day. Plain and simple, Syracuse won this basketball game, and that's what matters once the committee really takes a look at it, especially because it's early in the season. Once March comes, it's going to matter that Syracuse won that game, and that's it. Overall, this was a great team win. This was huge for the fan base, and this was huge for the team's confidence. This is the win of all wins. There's nothing better than beating the #1 team in the country on the road at their place, especially when it's Duke at Cameron Indoor Stadium. And guys, I'm telling you right now, I've said it before, this is our new rivalry. I wasn't around for the whole Georgetown rivalry, really. I hate Duke with passion. They're the only team in college basketball I can truly say that I hate. I root against them every single game. I feel so much passion when we're playing Duke, and this is the new rivalry, and it continues to get better. And every year it's an exciting game, and every year something new is brought to the table, like us meeting in the NCAA tournament, like us becoming #1 the first time around, beating them, and breaking the record 25-0. Between this, them being #1, us unranked, upsetting them in overtime. So many games have gone to extra innings, so to speak. So this is the rivalry. This is the new rivalry. And guys, they're coming to the Dome in February, and they're going to come hungry. They're going to come excited, and I am beyond excited for that because the Dome is going to be loud, proud. It's going to be something special once again, as it always is. And Duke's got another thing coming because both teams are only going to get better as this goes on, and I can't wait to see what happens in a month when these two teams face off once again in February. Now moving on. On Saturday, Syracuse took on ACC foe Pitt in the Carrier Dome. Now this goes way back. Syracuse leads the all-time record by a huge margin. These teams have been playing since the year 1916. How about that? Two teams that really faced off in the Big East year in, year out, and now both moving together into the Atlantic Coast Conference, continuing that rivalry. Now, the fan support was absolutely huge at the Dome. It was in full swing. I went to the ball game with a good friend of mine, and it was really cool to see. The snowstorm didn't stop Syracuse fans. Well over 24,000 people in attendance at the Carrier Dome on Saturday. Now, also with this ball game was really cool. They did a lot of football stuff. Camping World Bowl, trophy presentation. Dino Babers said a few words, shifting gears a little bit. He called out the Clemson Tigers for next year. And, man, fingers crossed, College Game Day. If anybody saw my interview with Cooper Dawson, he kind of gave us a little bit of a hint that it's already a guarantee, a lock. Clemson is coming here. Now, I don't know how much he knows. I don't know how much he was allowed to say. But regardless, he said it, that he's pretty sure what he heard is they're definitely coming here. So don't take my word for it, but it's hard to argue it because looking at the slate, we're certainly the best game. Hopefully, they'll win our 2 easy games early on. Now, we're going down to Maryland. I'm actually going to that game. Going to be a tougher game the week before Clemson, but should certainly be winnable. And before that, Liberty on the road, you should win that game as well. So if you think about it, 2-2-0 undefeated teams, ranked teams at the Carrier Dome, never been hosted by College Game Day at Syracuse University. The writing's on the wall. College Game Day in Syracuse. I know no matter what, I will be there. So excited. Now, we totally shifted off gears, but Dino Babers called him out. He had a speech at halftime. The whole team came out, trophy presentation. I actually took a picture with the trophy. It was really cool. Players were signing autographs. Really good football celebration to finalize the season. That was really awesome to see. So that also drew some more fans in the fan base to be in full swing as well. Now, shifting back to basketball, Syracuse took down Pitt with a final score of 74-63 in a game that Syracuse really dominated all across the board, especially in the second half here. Now, coming in, Pitt was a huge game for us. 12-5. Both teams had a 12-5 record, and we're obviously coming off that huge Duke win, and Pitt's coming off a huge win over number 11 ranked Florida State. Now, Florida State's a phenomenal team. They played Duke right to the buzzer. Duke hit a buzzer beater to defeat Florida State in Tallahassee last weekend, but this is not the same old Pitt team we're used to. Pitt's not going to get shoved around. They're a good basketball team. They play physical. They can stroke it from the 3, but they can also move the ball to the inside. They play an interesting zone defense, as well as mixing in a little bit of man-to-man. So it was really, really a big game for Syracuse and a big game for anybody. We've said it time in and time out. There's no pushover in the ACC. It's arguably the toughest conference in college basketball, and there's no easy game at all whatsoever, and this game certainly didn't disappoint. Now, before we really dive into the game, let's see some highlights. These highlights presented to you by the ACC Digital Network on YouTube. Now, I also want to throw this out. The previous highlights you saw for the Duke game were brought to you by the Syracuse Orange YouTube channel. I definitely have to give a shout out to those because I certainly don't want to get in trouble. I hope they don't mind me using their videos. So now, again, this one brought to you by the ACC Digital Network on YouTube. The last one brought to you by the Syracuse Orange YouTube. Syracuse versus Pittsburgh. Let's take a look at the highlights. Syracuse taking on the Pitt Panthers inside the Loud House Carrier Dome. Both teams coming off of major wins against nationally ranked opponents. Syracuse took down the number 1 team in the country in the Duke Blue Devils on the road, while Pitt was busy knocking off nationally ranked Florida State. Syracuse and Pitt both played really well in this ball game, matching up with each other nicely, both going in at 12-5 as Pascal Chukwu swats that one away. That was one of 10 total blocks for the Orange on the night. Tyus Battle now with the ball, showing off what he can do, pulling up from long range, and that one was pure. Syracuse playing strong in the first half of action as Pitt trying to close it off with a bucket here. Off the window and in. The Pitt Panthers won't go away just yet. Second half of action. Merrick Dolezaj kicks it out. Frank Howard, and that one goes in. Frank Howard really coming out in the last 2 ball games, coming off of that injury going into the season, as Pascal Chukwu slams it in on the inside, and he has been proving his worth in the last 2 ball games for the Orange. But Pitt won't go away just yet. A 3 from deep sails right through the nylon, and they're going to cut the lead to just 10 for the Orange. 11 minutes in the ball game. Backdoor cut for Elijah Hughes, and Merrick Dolezaj working his passing magic with the beautiful pass to Hughes on the inside, and Syracuse extends their lead once again. Look at the beautiful finish by Elijah Hughes. The Orange now, 11 minutes to go. Battle from three, pulling up in the face of a defender, and that one is pure. Another steal for the Orange, and Tyus Battle slamming it down with authority. A timeout for Pitt as Tyus Battle, 22 points on the night, leading his Orange. But Pitt won't go away just yet. A slam there for the Panthers as they continue to chip away at the Syracuse lead. Frank Howard with the ball, passing it up the court. Tyus Battle now. Battle on the inside to O'Shea, and he's going to put it down with authority. And the foul. He's going to get a shot at the line. Syracuse showing how they can play basketball here in transition. What a pass and what a slam through contact by O'Shea Brissett. Really good at getting himself to the free throw line. A pass there. And another backdoor cut. Beautiful feed from Merrick Dolezaj. Tyus Battle's going to go to the line. And the Orange capping off a big win, 74-63 at home as they improve to 4-1 in the ACC. What a game for the Syracuse Orange. We'll see you again here. My name's Giovanni Heater. Thanks for joining us. How about that? Big win at home in the Dome against the Pitt Panthers, and we did it in great fashion. Syracuse played excellent defensively in this ball game, ultimately resulting in the win. Syracuse forced 17 turnovers, and they also committed 10 blocks as well as 8 steals on the night. So phenomenal defense out of the Orange, and they also rebounded the ball very well, winning that margin. You know, this is clearly not the same scoring outburst as seen the other night against Duke, but tacos for all the Syracuse fans in attendance. If anybody doesn't know, every time Syracuse reaches 70 points, you turn in your ticket stub to any Taco Bell locally, and you get a free taco. So that was cool to see as we saw Syracuse drop 74 points on the Panthers. Tyus Battle led scoring with 22 points and 2 assists. He really, I want to touch upon this. I felt like he played with a lot of heart, and I felt like he was forcing things a little bit. You saw a little bit of frustration. The refs didn't give him some of the favorable calls that he felt he deserved, and he was playing a little bit frustrated. I don't know what that was all about. Nonetheless, 22 points, and he played really well in this ball game, ultimately. Buddy Boeheim, 13 points, going 4 for 4 from 3. Now, he missed his last one, ultimately 4 for 5 from the three-point arc and from the field. But did the dome roof burst and explode off that place when he hit the 4th one in a row? That place was going insane, and I was going insane, and it was a lot of fun. It was really cool to see a huge confidence boost for Buddy Boeheim, and he's certainly, him and Merrick Dolezaj are the fan favorites of this basketball team. O'Shea Brissett capped off the day with 11 points and 5 rebounds. Elijah Hughes, 8 points, a little bit underwhelming. He's usually averaging about 15, capped off 20 against Duke. He's always right around that 15 mark. So 8, little underwhelming, almost half of it. But you know what? Not everyone's going to have a huge swing in every single ball game, and he certainly played well, deserving his minutes. Frank Howard dropped 10 points, and you can, again, see his health getting better and better. He's becoming more involved in the scoring of this basketball team. Merrick Dolezaj, 4 points. He had this one very nifty layup, pump fake, drove to the inside, kind of, made this really nice finesse move around the rim to put it in off the glass. So it was really nice to see that. Merrick Dolezaj hustles, a fan favorite, as I said. His passing in this game was huge for me. 5 assists on the day. Precise passing on the backdoor cuts. He was able to deliver the ball perfectly, setting up for a lot of transition buckets as well as opportunities inside the paint. And it was really exciting to see Merrick Dolezaj show that side of his game that he doesn't necessarily show all the time. But when he does, it's something special. We saw those behind-the-back passes down at Miami last season. We know he's capable of doing it, and it was really cool to see. Pascal Chukwu, again, he continues to impress me. 11 boards and 6 points on the day for Pascal Chukwu. Again, I said it before. I don't expect him to come out and drop 20 points in a game. Not going to happen. But as long as he's rebounding the ball and putting a couple points up on the board, that's what I expect out of him, as well as blocking shots. And he certainly did that here today. 3 blocks on the day for him. 11 rebounds and 6 points. Perfect. Absolutely perfect across the board, and we'll take it all day. He also put in some free throws as well. Truly, truly a game dominated by the Orange, and it might not show it on the scoreboard with just an 11-point win, but Syracuse led by 20 points with 7 minutes left in this ball game. Now, that does mean we let Pitt claw back into this contest a little bit with some poor offensive possessions, but ultimately, Syracuse was able to close out. Buddy Boeheim is going to earn our flame of the game for this because 13 points, 4 for 4 for the most part from 3, given that one tightly contested one towards the end of a shot clock. He just played really well. He passed the ball well, played phenomenal defense. It goes unseen on the stat sheet, but he played really, really good defense. He was always in everybody's face, playing great defense, tipping passes and balls away. So great hustle, great work out of Buddy Boeheim, clearly trying to improve, clearly trying to get better, and it was really excited to see. Again, it was a good team win. Our tournament chances are looking great. They continue to improve when we play at this high level. Lots of momentum going forward. Finally meshing better as a basketball team, and really there's people stepping up in big places. All time, we have a huge record win over Pitt, and that continues to grow. And Syracuse just played a really, really good game in this. We're just playing well as a team, and everything's meshing, and it looks great. That's all I got for today, guys. If you haven't already, check out my video interview with Cooper Dawson. Phenomenal Syracuse football recruit and commit. And very excited, and he's a great guy, a great addition to the Syracuse football team. Add the Twitter, @GeoHeater. Now, a Miami preview hopefully coming up soon. That game's going to take place on Thursday. Following that, we're going to have a road trip down to Virginia Tech, who's nationally ranked. A lot of exciting stuff going forward. Some big opportunities here for the Orange. Again, that's all I got, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Get on the Twitter, get on the Instagram. We're going to get some polls out there. Let's get to 100 subscribers. We're at 81 right now. Let's boost it up. Let's go Orange, baby. Whoa!
Thank you for listening to Orange Heat, done by pursuing sports broadcaster and high school student Giovanni Heater. You can find him on Twitter and Instagram @GeoHeater. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more Syracuse athletics and Orange Heat action. Let's go Orange!